Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Think Future podcast. I'm your host, Chris Kalabukas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. Now I ask you, do you feel that your life has become incredibly complicated? That it's just much more complex than it has ever been? And I could argue and say, yes, absolutely right. That's exactly what has happened. Our lives have become so complicated, and it's not just technology. It's cultures, it's changes, it's politics, it's social factors. Our lives have become so complex that we've probably gotten to the point where we can no longer manage them without augmentation. That there's no way for us to be able to manage our lives unless we augment ourselves somehow. And what we've done, and we've done it very naturally without us even realizing it, is augment ourselves with technology. I mean, everybody has a phone. Everybody has one of these. You know, it might be an iPhone, it might be an Android, it might be whatever. But everybody has one of these attached to themselves and freak out when it's nowhere nearby. And why is that? It's because we're already cyborgs. And we've already become cyborgs. Sure, we don't have, things implanted in our eyes like Jean-Luc Picard had with the Borg. But we are already cyborgs. We already require this augmentation in order to survive in this world. I mean, can you even remember a time where you had to spend more than 30 seconds to find out some bit of information that you possibly would have thought of? You think to yourself, oh, I wonder how this works, or I wonder what the history of that is, and boom, within 30 seconds you have all this information at your fingertips. You are already an augmented human. Now, some people might argue is that the reason our lives are more complex is because this technology is making us more complex. But I think the reality is that we were tending towards this anyway. Life around us has become more complicated anyway, and we need the technology to help us make sense of it all. We need the technology to help augment ourselves, to become that sort of homo superior, that augmented human. And most of us are augmented humans as we are right now, and that's what's taken us into the future. I mean, you read a lot of science fiction which talks about evolution, right? And how human beings are going to evolve to have 3 arms or 4 legs or whatever. We're going to evolve to some new future state once we figure out how to do all this genetic manipulation and become something new. But I think that time's already gone. We've already started to evolve ourselves based on augmenting ourselves with technology, right? The technology augmentation has already created new humans who can barely survive without their connection to the internet. So the reality is that we shouldn't be pushing back against it. We should be saying to ourselves, you know what? This is what humans are like now. Human beings are cyborgs, and we need to look at our social structures. We need to look at our government structures. We need to look at all of the structures around us, business, home, etc., and try to figure out, if this is what humans are now, how do we need to change our culture so that it works better? That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.